Yo guys, welcome to the Decelerator. It's a fine podcast.
So, should we start the Decelerator episode
Yeah.
2?
Yeah, indeed.
Decelerator episode 2, guys.
That's what we are doing.
Yes.
Okay, wait. So we haven't actually started yet. We're just.
We have started, yeah.
Oh, we should
I mean,
have
Haven't
started.
started yet.
we've
Like,
been
this is
recording
live
that
right
thing
now.
for a long
Yeah.
time. We're
Right now,
recording
like
this
1 million
thing.
viewers are looking at you to see what do you say, bro.
Cool.
Yeah.
So cool, guys.
I really got a message from one of our fans, innit? But we'll answer later in the show. This message is. She wants some advice on issue later on, but we'll bring that up later anyway.
Okay,
Alright,
that's
cool.
That's good. Well, hello, guys. How have you been so far?
Really good.
Pretty good.
It's
Pretty
been a
good.
good week.
Yes.
We had a lot going on. I feel like we should start with Nick's topic.
Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, Canada, my home and native land. So,
Do you
first,
actually know Oh Canada? Like, can you sing it?
not the whole thing, not the whole thing. But I'd like to start with a joke.
Alright. That's a strong way to start a podcast.
So you know how like at school they teach you to start something, you should start open with a joke or
Yeah.
some
Valid point, I agree.
statistics.
Yeah.
So, what do Canada and Saudi Arabia have in common?
Ooh. This is,
Marvin knows the
We're
answer.
gonna cut the like we should.
Alvaro knows what's happening. Alright, go on.
The boat.
Just
You know I'm laughing.
Wow.
I'm thinking about all the Saudi Arabian fans we just lost. In
You should listen to your laughs, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna smack them.
it's really
Man, we are picking on those laughs there.
I feel like
Yo,
that
it's
joke
out.
is actually gonna have to be cut.
You know, I think we should. I
The
think
censors are gonna hate that word.
I
You know,
think
keep it in, just beep it all out. Beep,
that-
so they'll never know the
this is
answer.
my point. So I think just all the nonsense we say, we should just beep it and maybe blur the mouth as well. Like if
But
you
wouldn't
want
it
to be
get,
on the
like,
safe side.
monotonous if you're watching a podcast and you just hear beep. Like it gets annoying after a
No,
while.
but,
Yeah,
well,
but-
it depends, you know, like if it's one word maybe, but it's not gonna be like a
Constantly
beep
through.
for like one
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
minute because
Okay.
then that's ridiculous. But you know, like for example, like maybe he's telling the joke and he only gets to the part that is, you know, like that both of them like and then beep and then that's for the audience to decide like
Definitely.
what they wanna interpret it from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because I
You
mean,
know.
you helped editing the first one, like it just transition on transition.
You mean the guy?
Yeah, that guy.
I mean, the first episode was like proper communist era. Like it was just like we're talking, and then it just goes to black screen, like on so many different spots. So
Like there's literally one moment I've already give some introduction, and it's like, so we are all about diversity, and it's a cut. Because something after that, it was Marvin's comment.
like literally that's like in the first 30 seconds it's like welcome to the Decelerator, then like we value diversity something and then
Yes.
someone made a controversial comment.
So yeah. So
Who could
welcome
that
to the
be?
Decelerator,
Oh,
guys. If you didn't know us already, we are entrepreneurs from all over the world, trying to
Hey.
make our own business grow in this beautiful city. So we have Nick.
I'm just like
What is?
I was trying to signal Alvar to come closer to the mic.
Oh yeah, I was like, what was he gonna say? Like he just like
Okay,
slide
okay,
it
yeah,
away.
that's
Okay, this is better. This is
Slide
better.
it away.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean it's a very
I like how we're
unique
saying.
formation.
I like what we're saying. It looks
Yeah,
cool.
it's
like,
really
what we're saying.
So shall I start with the topic? The
Yes,
topic.
okay,
Go
So
ahead.
apparently, Canada, a lovely country, is called the Silicon Valley of the
Valley.
Valley of the North.
Yeah.
Volley.
Okay.
Silicon Valley of the North.
Doing accents now.
Again.
Love that.
I'm not even a Canadian accent.
There's been like a lot of improvement in their economy, and essentially, so I remember hearing about this about 2016 with like when the 2015 2016 before the presidential elections in the US, when Donald Trump would give all the statements about like the ideas to make the immigration policies a bit stricter, and a lot of big tech companies were like looking for alternatives, and a lot of them were considering actually possibly just moving their employees to Canada if they couldn't sponsor like H-1B visas, for example, which is a work visa in the US, which is ridiculous because you can't just get it. There's a lottery for a work visa in the US. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? I thought the lottery was the diversity visa.
Yeah, there's that one. But if, for example, say you're an American company who wants to hire somebody as an employee, like there's an H-1B visa, you would sort of sign the contract or whatever, issue an endorsement letter or something like that, and then I think in April of each year there's a sort of a lottery of who will actually get a visa out of those people who got sort of endorsements, and it's about 30% of people who get them actually.
Wow.
Which is quite ridiculous. Like it's not as easy as you just.
Wait, so it's not like the British system, like
No.
you have to go through some sort of lottery.
Yeah, you have to go through the lottery in there.
Wow, I never knew that.
Quite tough. And Canada doesn't have this. So in Canada, essentially, you can sponsor the visa and invite an employee to work, as long as they do have to qualify somehow. But it's much
easier.
It's way easier. Yes. And they have in general like pretty good kind of arena for startups in Canada. They have a similar visa to the startup visa in the UK.
Yeah.
Very similar rules. So essentially, in the United Kingdom, there's this visa where if you get an endorsement from somebody that states your business idea is valid and scalable and has a potential, you can come in the country and work on your own business. And so Canada has a similar thing.
That's really interesting. I mean, I feel like Marvin
has something funny
has
to say
something funny
about
to say about this. 'Cause
this.
Marvin,
I have not-
what do you think about the visa situation that Nick just spoke about?
Well,
Being the only British person.
no, I respect what Canada's doing in it because. Yeah, no, to be
Would
honest,
you- would you go to
after
Canada?
After
Would-
Nick mentioned the topic to me, actually, I started looking into it myself, and
Yeah.
I started looking into like Canada, it's the, specifically Toronto, innit, where
Yeah.
it's this incubator hub is growing in it. So
Mm.
I think I was reading up that it's the 4th biggest tech hub in
Oh wow.
It's something like
in North
that, yeah.
America, and it's the thing about Toronto, I think that 51% of the people are from outside of Canada, innit? So for them to do that immigration visa scheme, it seemed like just
Like, it's something they must
they
do.
must
Otherwise,
do anyway because
Well, yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Well,
And obviously,
I guess it's pretty obvious, to be honest. Like, if I
Exactly.
had a company and there is a country that doesn't provide me with, with enough facilities in order for me to progress, then, what's the point of being there? However, United States, you need to remember that a lot of people, that is the market that you want to target. Like, whenever you have a business, that's the market that you want to go for first. Because
True.
they are the first in innovation, well, at least, like the biggest companies out there,
Yeah.
like in Silicon Valley and stuff like that. And even in terms of customers, like the people from there like are used to spending a lot of money in this kind of products, and this kind of services. So yeah, like I can see the pros and cons from both sides. But,
yeah.
but like it's a reasonable thing to do.
But like I would ask, like, is it only visas that make a country attractive for startups? Because like we have to also consider which country gets the most startup funding, and I think
Yeah.
it's actually America, and then followed by London.
That's
Like London has a lot of startups and a lot of funding.
yes.
Apparently, Sweden has Stockholm has the second most unicorns after
No way.
Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah, like Spotify and
Oh,
those
yeah,
things.
yeah.
I think Angry Birds.
Yeah,
It's Finnish.
Oh yeah,
I think.
same
Finnish.
same region.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
That's
it's a bit.
I pulled out like infographics here, so it shows the growth of tech industry job growth in Canada from 2013 to
a
2018.
lot of people are going from Silicon Valley to Toronto as well, innit? That's what I keep hearing.
Right,
a lot
like
of
I've,
jobs, a
I've
lot
heard
of
there are
growth.
like some trends, but I don't know how big those are. But exactly as you're saying, that Toronto is the biggest growing hub. It's the growth was 54% from 2013 to
Is that
2018.
in terms of investment or in terms of something else?
tech industry job growth, whatever it means.
I think it's just the overall. I think it's like the overall like
For people
I
that
would imagine
cannot see
job
the
market.
graphic, it goes like this. It goes like that.
Explain what a unicorn is as well. Like,
It's a unicorn.
explain what a
instead.
unicorn is for the
audience, a
the
unicorn is a
audience, no.
company that has reached $1 billion in valuation
Mm.
or more.
run
Wow,
track
that's
soon.
very
Run
specific.
track soon.
That's why he's the smart guy here, guys.
No, the smartest person here is
That way he's the smart one.
doing an app. Tell us about your app, which is a VR, AR, like all the trendiest
Yeah, but
topics.
I am supposed to be the funny one here, so that's what he's saying.
Would you ever would you consider taking your business, like let's say it was doing well, to
I don't know. That's
to
actually a
Silicon
question
Valley?
that I had for you guys. Like,
Mm.
if the UK wasn't available, like imagine UK didn't exist, like where would you be right now?
I mean, that's a good question. What do you think, Nick?
personally, I'll say Toronto. Personally, for me,
Really?
Toronto,
I'll choose
really?
Toronto. Yeah.
Do you like the colder, bro? Like, is it cold? Like it's Canada.
Personally, I'll choose Toronto over like what Silicon Valley, because obviously
Yeah.
Silicon Valley is like, there's not a lot of diversity there. They're sexist. There's
It's a labor, like it's Hollywood.
it's true. It's true. There's more
though.
diversity in Toronto as well. I feel like I'm gonna be feel more at home. You know, Toronto culture is very similar to London culture.
Oh yeah.
So as well, yeah. That's why you see people like Drake so easily just like adapts to UK culture. Like,
So you don't want to adapt to a different culture, is what you're trying to
no.
say. In other words,
I wouldn't even mind the
I think
The-
you would actually enjoy
yeah.
America.
I wouldn't
like,
mind. I wouldn't
honestly.
mind working being in Silicon Valley. I hear about a lot of stuff that happens there.
A lot of people think
You hear
like
about it, like the sex parties that happens and all the you all like the jacuzzi parties, the like beach
Here's
parties,
the real
cocktail
Marvin
parties, yeah.
emerged finally.
the real
No, but-
Marvin is.
No, do you know
Like,
a lot of
destroying
deals?
it.
A lot of deals in Silicon Valley actually happen like outside of the office. They happen in like parties.
Yeah.
Where there's,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they happen in the jacuzzis in
It's
the
a great
hotels.
culture, you know,
It's a
like
very-
la cultura.
Yeah, the
like
the culture's wild in it. So you work hard, but you work hard, but you play hard as well. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind like, but at the same time like it's not a lot of diversity, like I said in it. So maybe I would feel
Yeah.
out of place. Who knows? Because
But I actually think Silicon Valley is really diverse. Like
That's
they
what I would imagine
embrace
as well.
diversity. It's not
think
like
so. I'm not too sure. Even I feel like
difficult to say.
if you're a minority-
depends on the industry as well. I
yeah,
think, because,
100%.
you know,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think if you're a minority or you've got a vagina, you're not gonna be. You might not really feel at home
This is
in
being
Silicon
cut,
Valley. innit?
so-
Yeah, so for example, this is the
We'll keep it.
Yeah.
No.
No. Like this is it is a place like, for example, when you say like, oh, like when you got pee, and then, you know, like, and then you
Okay.
just keep going.
Cool. Keep going with your thoughts.
I'm good. Let me stop now.
Like, can you not censor him in the middle
in
of
life?
his of his speech at least?
So I feel like I had to because he was just gonna go wilder.
No, but it's the truth though, innit? Like there is
A lot of that.
yeah, women complain. I've heard. I was reading up on a lot of women complaining about how they feel being in Silicon Valley. They feel like they have to. For example, their boss is like, okay, we're going out to a jacuzzi party. Everyone come like minimal clothing, and they feel like they have to go because if they don't go, another female who feels more comfortable going, dressing up like drinking beer in a jacuzzi, talking about business, they're gonna get opportunities for their ideas, and they're gonna miss out. So they feel they have to go, and they feel like, yeah, it's like a power struggle, isn't it? And the power's in favor of all the
It's
men.
a
innit?
different type of work pressure, as it's,
Yeah,
you know,
different type, yeah.
which is not necessarily pressure, but it's still, you know.
I feel like it's unfair putting it only on Silicon Valley. I think it happens across.
True,
different
but because
industries.
they're so powerful, innit? Like, what's it? Like,
Hollywood.
2.8 trillion neyborhood. Like, it's like they're so
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah,
like,
like-
Weinstein.
they control.
Everyone has a bigger
Did
yacht.
you say something about Harvey Weinstein?
No.
Oh, okay. But no, they control a lot of they control the world basically because tech controls the world, so they control the world. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like,
that's true.
do you want the people controlling the world or the people controlling the entity that's controlling the world to be all one type of person, like all like what men? You
Well,
get me?
I don't know, bro. Like in terms of what you just said, you know, like I always saw that type of industry more like in the movie sector, you know, like more like in
Yeah.
movies, like where this kind of deal happens. Like maybe it's just my idea in my head, but in terms of tech, you know,
Yeah.
like I feel that the tech companies are truly about, you know, like gathering a lot of professional individuals together, and you know, like they will have fun and everything, but it wouldn't be as bad as it may look. You know, like,
Maybe,
it would be,
maybe.
like, I don't know. Like I just
Yeah.
I just
know it
get the
definitely
feeling-
happens in the movie scene.
I feel like it's a committee of people who decide on what content is actually going to be kept into the podcast
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what
Like-
content is going to be destroyed.
We will leave that for the directors of
Exactly,
the Decelerator.
yeah. We don't know
Yeah,
those people.
yeah,
But
like,
I feel like they have really
Yeah.
good judgment. They're really sound, and we can trust them.
So I can explain how the first editing worked. So I did cut some things that like utter nonsense from the first version.
I feel like that's an understatement. I mean, you did like 90% of the cutting, and it was like so like natural. It came natural to Nick.
But we were laughing though because I grew up in Russia. That I'm like a censorship native.
Like a censorship czar or something.
so it's like you're born with like. But to be fair, like when I studied in the US, I was taking this class called what was it called? Something like business ethics and laws. And somehow I was doing really well in the class. You know, you always have to like respond to like moral dilemmas in there and like sort of decisions. I don't know.
Oh yeah, those
Like those things.
things that don't have answers, basically. Like
Yeah, but there's always a right answer. Like there's always something you kind of should say or.
It's like the
have
thing
to
about
consider.
would you like there's a train coming down the track, and on one side you have 10 people, and on the other side you have 2 people, and it's currently going towards the 10 people. Would you pull the lever for the train to go onto the left and
I get
to
that.
the 2
Yeah,
people,
Yeah.
or like that's the type of moral dilemmas they put you in.
It was more of like the big, for example, car manufacturers know like who are aware that there is some issue with their cars. You know, that can cost people lives. They know that it's going to be very expensive for them to recall all those cars and fix them.
Yeah.
But they might just think, well, it's probably just easier to pay like settlement fees to the families of the victims rather than recall all the cars. And here's like sort of, okay, so are you being human afterwards? You know, like it's more of that, I guess.
That's
Just
very
like-
deep, bro. Like, yeah.
I feel like that's like it's actually a philosophical question, and I don't know whether there's a right answer or not.
Well,
Like a lot of it is debated. Like the
Don't worry,
hundreds.
guys. Like we're gonna have the Decelerator law edition, a law edition. But today is about tech and business.
Yeah,
Let's
we were
get
veering
back,
off.
Let's get back on track.
Drifted
Nice
off,
one,
yeah.
Alvaro.
What was he
Alvaro
talking
is
about? What was he
putting
talking-
us back on track.
Yeah.
I think it was
Canada.
startups in Canada.
So, like
yeah,
a slap.
So, but let's talk about the question you were asking about. Where would you lot go? Because I answered mine. I said Toronto.
Yeah.
What did you say?
So for me, actually, Canada was always an option. It was always on the list, but I'm not sure that would be the only country I would potentially consider moving to. So I like the US. I like Australia. Maybe Australia is not the best place to develop like an international business, but something locally is quite good. Or if your
It's
business is
beautiful
focusing
country as
on
well,
like
yeah.
Oceania.
Yeah, I think I would stay in London because there's a lot of opportunities in this city, and
No. I said like
doesn't
if
exist.
It doesn't exist. Like
Oh,
literally,
okay.
the UK,
I missed that part.
The UK is out of the
That's,
map.
okay, let me think about it. Then obviously you'd want to go somewhere in America. I'm thinking Silicon
Somewhere
Valley.
in America.
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
Oh, wow.
Because
Can't imagine.
Very capitalist. Or
Yeah.
I mean, we're all starting our business to
Can't
help.
imagine it's in Silicon
Trump,
Valley.
Trump supporting.
Oh yeah.
That is absolutely not true.
He's just gonna come with his MAGA
stating
hat like,
stating it
tomorrow,
for the record. But I think all of our
Show your MAGA
businesses.
hat tomorrow. You know, you're the one you've got a MAGA hat.
I'm trying to plug you, bro. Like all of our businesses is about making money and stuff. But this honorable gentleman here
okay.
Oh yeah.
wants
like,
to help kids, and I feel like that's something that a lot
that's
of us
something
should.
so valuable, bro.
It
like,
actually
you know,
is.
Like,
Like I've been meaning to compliment you on this. The way he wants to actually help children.
yeah.
And you wanna talk about a little bit?
No,
about that?
I'm just happy that you decided that you're gonna invest in my company. I'm happy you decided you're gonna give like 2% of your
Yeah.
earnings every year to run tracks. So
I mean, I'll take that deal. I'll take that deal.
Marvin is really
2%.
after all those YouTube money.
Yeah.
2%. He doesn't know. Algorithm changes. I'll take. How much percent would he offer me for that? we can make a deal right now.
Live deal.
Live deal. Yeah.
Live negotiations and it.
You brought it up.
We should do a mini version of Shark Tank here. Oh damn. Well,
Mini version of Shark.
okay, don't lay down on the The chair that launch.
I wonder who'll be the first one to destroy something. I always bet it's either Marvin.
I'm actually standing back for anything. As you can see, like,
You know what?
My chair, like,
I feel like it's when he's taking his bag later on. He's gonna drop the camera.
I
Like
put my bag
just,
there in case the thing drops in
it's
it.
literally a hazard. But anyway,
yeah.
what country? You said Toronto. What about you? What country would you go to?
I would actually go to
App for airports. Where would that be?
like I will to Amsterdam probably.
That's a good. That's a,
Oh,
that's
wow.
a,
Like
that's a good
Amsterdam
idea.
has a
Amsterdam is not a country.
Oh,
Oh, he's
Amsterdam
being
is a
pedantic
city.
now.
Yes. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
Fancy.
Netherlands. Sorry, the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yes, I will
Oh.
go to the Netherlands.
Have you been there
If I
before?
said Toronto, that's
I've
not a
been
country.
in Amsterdam. Actually.
I mean,
it's really good, really high environment.
is that the city
Uh,
where weed is legal?
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
said high
It's an
environment.
amazing place to
Have you
go.
been there?
Yeah, like 3 times.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
No
Yeah,
way.
but I didn't partake in any of the activities.
What?
Prostitution's legal as well. Like.
Oh.
But I didn't partake in any.
You have a red district there.
Have you
there is
been?
ladies.
You been there before?
Yeah, like
Walking
it's
through the
there-
red light district is crazy.
Yeah, like
Wow.
Yeah, so I was
there are
walking.
ladies
oh
just
my-
liking it.
And you see these
like-
guys literally, they'll be knocking on the window, be like, "Oh, come," and like, you're just like,
Beyonce.
yeah, they calling me Beyonce. They're like, "Yo, Beyonce, come!" I'm just like, no, I couldn't even do it, like, because I'm not. I don't know. It just seems so weird to me, like, literally. I don't know, man. It just seems so weird. I'm seeing guys happily just going in there, like, they were telling their friends, "I'll be back in 5 minutes, mate," and just walking inside. I'm just like, crazy.
That is
Yeah.
so
and
funny.
they're done in like 10 minutes and that.
Don't
I
worry,
asked one of the
we will
guys.
do a Decelerator trip to Amsterdam.
Excellent, yeah, we need
will
to show
take
you,
there.
yeah.
We need to
show you
like,
that.
yeah, I would assume like there's some sort of app for that as well. Like everything is on an app these days.
For what? For
Yeah.
Amsterdam.
For,
I think they like. I think the whole secret element about it is what's important, because there's a lot of like sex shows and sex parties that go on as well as the windows. Oh, again, sex parties. But no, but this is actually true. Everyone knows Amsterdam, yeah. As well as all the ladies in the windows. It was so funny
Marvin
one
seems
time.
to
yeah.
have a lot of expertise in this area. Like it's a bit
Literally, so
concerning.
when one guy come out, I asked him how was it. He said it wasn't even worth it. He said they paid £50 for no reason. Like.
Wow.
He said you can't do nothing. You can't touch them.
Explicit content.
You can't do nothing really. And I was like, well, lucky I didn't waste my money, because that stuff is just not really for me. Like, I actually never partake. I'm not even joking. I actually never got involved in that. That's like
Oh, wow,
so.
yeah.
A lot of people do it though. Like literally everyone. Like there's a like a culture in London where there's like, if you go to Amsterdam, you have to experience it once. So when I didn't do it, the whole holiday my boys were just getting on to me. And they were just like, you're a P word, or you're scared. I'm just like, it's not really something I'm into, and it's not really me in it.
What is this
Yeah.
P word you speak of?
Yes.
Oh,
Peculiar.
innit?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In London, that means like if you're like you're scared, innit? You're scared to do something that apparently another man would do, innit?
Okay. We need to make Decelerator only.
It was so funny though, yeah. because-
R-rated, you know.
Yeah, like, but it was so funny. 'cause
That's
I
the
remember I was
thing.
walking,
Like
like,
all of this is being
R-rated.
cut off.
No.
No.
A lot of it is being cut off. Like
Marvin,
you,
please
can, you
continue.
can just beat me out, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get
continue.
beat out for a lot of this.
like,
Apologize.
carry on, but like
yeah,
in
'cause
my
I'm walking
mind,
down the red light district, yeah, at one time, yeah, and then I'm walking, and I turn a corner, and all the doors turn blue. I'm like, why are these blue? Like, so I'm walking there, and next thing you know, you start realizing, innit, it's men in these ones now, innit, like, because it changed to men and like.
Oh, really?
Like, transsexuals.
I was there like 5 years ago.
Oh, so
probably.
maybe they didn't have that back then, innit, when there wasn't a lot of diversity, and they wasn't embracing the LGBT
Yeah.
community, innit.
Yeah,
But now they
probably.
are, innit. And I was walking back, the way the obviously I'm into females, innit, so the way I just started walking backwards, it was just like
Wow.
reversing back. Yeah, it was. But it's good though. They're embracing different cultures, innit.
Yeah. It's a good example of that. And
I don't even smoke as well, so imagine I went there. So
Yeah.
like, all my friends are quite high, and I'm just there. I'm fully embracing everything that's going on.
Yeah, like
every
the
little
culture,
thing, yeah.
la cultura, la
Everything, yeah,
pasión.
cultura, you get me,
La
like
cultura, la pasión,
mucha,
yeah.
and that, yeah.
and,
Mucha
I feel like, did you write a book after this? Like,
I
just
should
like
have been,
sitting
because
outside the
I was
cafes.
literally the only person in that city who was awake.
Yeah.
Everyone was so slow and calm, because obviously everyone's
Wait,
high.
is this the first time, second time, or third time you
No,
went?
but you know, like,
Every
but
time, yeah, every
don't
time,
judge
yeah.
him, bro. Like, literally, how
I'm
many
not judging him.
tech gurus right now like have admitted to do drugs at some point in their
yeah,
lives?
yeah.
Like, how many tech gurus, bro? Like,
When I become a
if you
tech
if you
guru,
read
I'm gonna do
the
drugs.
biography of Steve Jobs, for example, like you can tell that the guy was not necessarily, you know, like into
Did he?
going to church every weekend,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like,
Wow,
like, yeah.
that is interesting.
Indeed.
Anyways, yeah, that's it. Back to
Anyways,
Toronto.
yes.
Yeah.
Back to
So,
Toronto.
I answered the
A
question.
little world
I
trip.
think we've all answered the question.
I think Silicon Valley for startups. I think Silicon Valley is probably not the best option. Like I feel like I have to get serious now. Innit? Let's say you get like 100k investment. in Silicon Valley, I feel like that's gonna last you. Like, that could, let's say that lasts you 6 months, but if you go to Toronto, it could last you a year. That extra 6 months time you have for your business can be life or death. Like, so I feel like
That's also true, yeah.
What about the fact that businesses in Silicon Valley get a lot more money? In terms of,
that's
they get a
my
lot more
point as
funding.
well.
Valid point.
A lot more funding. Like
Probably
it's
like
Business is so
500,000 would
mobile
be
nowadays.
reasonable.
Like, you can
Yeah, but
literally
that's
be
the
working
thing.
from
There is so
somewhere.
much competition out there because you have a startup culture where everyone, like who gets an idea, like is gonna think that, like, okay, I can do this, like, and there's a lot of competition there. Like, you can only go to that field if you're actually sure and very good at what you do, because otherwise, then you might be just losing your time.
I feel like money is way easier in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Like it's much easier to raise it compared to London.
True.
And they kind of encourage you to raise more essentially. And like there's so much of it that if they see the idea is valid, they don't mind, giving.
Yeah, essentially, like American VCs will, like, literally throw away money because they invest in like, hundreds of different startups, and maybe only 1 or 2 are going to be successful, and that's like the whole business model.
They invest
So
in
it's
like
a lot.
20 and hope
Literally,
one becomes
like,
a unicorn.
that is a
yeah.
legitimate way that they earn their
I've
money.
noticed that as well because I watch Shark Tank and
Yeah.
Dragon's Den. You know Shark Tank.
Yeah, yeah.
Dragons Den. Yeah.
Way better.
Like Dragon's Den, they'll literally every single
They're
time
so
they're
boring,
trying
bro.
to
They're so
get,
stingy.
and they're always trying to take 50% of the person's company for like £20,000.
Yeah.
But you go on Shark Tank, they're giving away 200k
For,
for
like,
only like 5%.
For like
Yeah,
5%.
Yeah,
like,
well, it
it's
seems like
different valuation.
Yeah,
And it's
they
also like the
don't
fact
value
that what
entrepreneurs.
what the sharks bring to the table, like most of the one in the United States,
Yeah.
you can tell that they have so much power and way much more
Yeah,
money than the
yeah,
than the ones
100%,
from
yeah.
Dragon's Den. Like,
Don't
personally,
don't
don't get me wrong, like I love this country, but yeah, like I prefer the US version of
only Peter
these
Jones.
type of shows.
Peter Jones is the only dragon that.
But guess what? I think
respect
Peter Jones
rate.
is like, he'd be one of the poorest dragons on
think so?
Shark Tank.
Is he
Yeah.
that?
He'd be one of the poor judges, but he's like the
that. He'll
richest
be like,
one
okay, yeah,
in
yeah.
the UK.
That,
Yeah. That's
And you know the thing-
and that's why they're so greedy, and they ask you for like 50% of
That's
the
exactly
company.
the case. And the thing is, like, if you look at Shark Tank, for example, compared to Dragon's Den, on Shark Tank, I just forgot my point. It happens to the best of us. Oh yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, the whole valuation thing, and like how does a business go about valuing itself. I feel like that's a really interesting topic,
Yeah,
and I feel like we all have opinions on that as well.
we definitely should bring that
So
up.
we should like talk
Yeah.
about how would a startup know how to value itself, and like what we do ourselves.
I guess it depends of how much traction do you have and how much you have achieved so far. Obviously, if you have already gained some competitions, that could be a proven point. Like if people are talking about your product even before you have sent it to the public, then like if you have some sort of validation from someone else, basically,
Yeah.
like then
Yep.
that could be something. It depends. It depends. In the United States, you can tell a lot also how the legal things work, like in terms of intellectual property, copyrights, everything. Like everything needs to be well figured out. And actually, if you hear the interviews about the show, like with Mr. Wonderful and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like he tells you that the whole pitch lasts for around 1 hour and a half. You only see like 5 minutes of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I think
heard
that's
about
the
it,
same
yeah.
thing with Shark
That's why
Tank. yeah.
sometimes they look tired as well because
That's
it's
true.
actually gone on for so long, and it's like they're just there like, oh.
But you know, my favorite part in Shark Tank is like when one of the
Kevin
investors,
O'Leary.
the other guy on the edge, I think Robert Hershey,
Robert Hershey-
and how like no one
yeah.
wants to work with him every time.
Yeah, it seems
Like
like
he puts in offers and then they're like, oh no,
it's
does
true.
anyone else have
It
an
seems
offer?
like it seems like
It's
only
like
people,
so
yeah.
much.
Only the
so
people
much
that are into
shade.
sports, only animal products or
Yeah.
sports products seem to want to go for
Robert, yeah, it's so
But
funny.
to be fair, everyone chooses Mark Cuban anyway. Like,
That's true.
they-
Like, I
No,
think
like
they-
Mr.
Mark-
Wonderful is also good, like
But
if
no
you
one's-
know how
but
to
he's
deal with
brutal.
Yeah.
He's
like
brutal.
he's an
He always wants a
like a
royalty
vulture.
deal.
Yeah.
He literally
Yeah.
always wants a royalty deal.
like he's always like tying the businesses so bad. Like,
yeah.
you have to pay me back with interest,
With
and
this-
I'm
with
gonna
this much,
earn
yeah.
and I'm gonna get the royalty.
exactly,
Yeah.
and I
Like,
own
it's
20% of your company.
Yes.
Terrible.
Like it's crazy, it's
That-
crazy. But like things what like also Lori, like she has like the best market route to go to every
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of market, like in terms of
Yeah.
retail.
Because
like
of
it's just
QVC.
crazy, yes.
Because of
QVC, Bed Bath and
literally,
Beyond
yeah,
and all
she's
that.
literally
And like sometimes the way
If
she
you've got a
puts
product, you go for Laurie.
the way
straight
she
away.
puts people down, it's so funny. Like
Yeah.
she like builds it up. You
Yeah.
think she's gonna give an
And
offer,
then
and then
I'm,
she
don't,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
But-
say no, and then
yeah.
she shuts up, and then that's it.
But like as entrepreneurs,
Beautiful
that's
lady,
something
man. I
that
like
we
her.
experience a lot, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
We're gonna do a podcast actually later on in terms of how to properly pitch in front of venture capitalists and investors. You know, like I think it might be interesting for you guys.
I think Alvaro is gonna lead that and he's gonna teach us. 'Cause
Yeah, indeed.
but like definitely that's something interesting.
No, yeah,
because-
like that's
I'll
definitely something we
I'll
should
definitely
talk.
help
We
you.
should talk
I'll
about.
definitely help
I'm
in
pretty
that.
sure most.
Oh
of
yeah,
our
this
followers-
guy. He
What
was on
happened?
ITV. Did we mention that before?
Oh yes.
Our ITV superstar.
Like
Yes.
he's literally on ITV
Yes.
almost every day.
As you have seen on TV. As seen,
As seen on TV. Look at the camera.
As seen on TV. Yeah,
Right
you know,
there,
like
right there.
Right there. Give it like
usually our day is like, you know, like, oh yeah, bro, like I've just come to the working space. I'm trying to take my company to the next step and everything. But this guy is already, you know, like, oh, today, you know, like had a photo session for this magazine.
yeah,
You know,
literally.
like,
Or like, oh, I have to go to the park. I have to organize like a football game because
yeah,
like I have GQ and all these people.
Man's a GQ.
What,
Yeah,
Forbes?
like-
was it Forbes?
Forbes.
I can't even remember the magazines you're naming.
like, he's like,
Like,
oh, you need
he's doing
something.
really
I'm
well,
gonna
though.
talk to this guy, you know, like to that guy. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's
Oh, let's
really
read the.
It's just
Oh,
crazy. I envy you, bro. Like, tell us more about.
good. Tell us about your ITV experience, honestly. Like, how does it happen? Like,
Yeah,
what
like-
did you do? And
No, it was cool, innit? Like, to be fair.
like, start from the beginning. What happened? Like, how did they approach you to tell you you're going to be on TV?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Is this? Should we save it for? Should we really talk about this?
Just quickly, yeah.
Alright,
I
cool.
think we have
No,
time
so-
because we're going to edit out like 10 minutes.
cool.
Carry on.
No, so basically, I was at a competition called the SJL Foundation,
Yeah.
hosted in House of Commons, pitching against a few other like social entrepreneurs
Wow.
from like Cambridge and stuff like that.
How did you get that opportunity? Like,
Apparently, none of you lot even attempted to apply for it. Shame, shame, shame.
was I even here at that time?
I've
Yeah, he
applied
wasn't.
for
Actually,
that
I
one.
forget. I'll lie him. He wasn't here at the time. I'll lie him.
Neither Nick, I
Nick
think. It was
applied.
Nick.
Nick
Oh,
applied
oh,
for it. So I think you need to withdraw those comments.
Okay, I'm sure that,
Yeah.
It's just for issue then.
Yeah.
Shame.
I'll accept that.
Just for my lawyer, like this is defamation. For me, this is defamation.
No, because literally, I think there's loads of things in it. Like, there's even one for this Cambridge entrepreneur thing that no one's even spoke about. I'm gonna apply for it today. No one spoke about it. But I feel like we need to take up these opportunities because it ended up being this big opportunity where I met this, the person who owns the SJL Foundation, Simon J. Lancaster, multi-millionaire, innit?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so obviously, now I'm like not friends, but he's like an associate now. I'm close with him from this whole situation.
Oh wow.
Went to House of Commons, pitched my idea.
So you went to the House of Commons, which
Yeah,
is
it
like
was
the
hosted.
parliament of
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Did you see any MP?
Did you see Boris?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Boris?
I was in my own zone and it just like.
Oh, you're
like,
nervous.
looking at my pitch, just like
Oh,
remembering my
okay.
pitch. Yeah, I was literally
Were you
just in my own
nervous?
zone. Huh?
Nervous.
Is it,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it, is
I'm
it
always
the,
nervous. Before a pitch, I can't. Do you know what it is? I can't sleep the night before and I can't eat. So when I'm there, I'm normally drained in it.
Oh, wow.
But you will never know in it because I present myself in a
Authoritative.
yeah, very, in a very good manner. innit? So without being too confident, I'll come with a nice suit, make sure my hair's done. And I stand up straight, even though I'm tired. You won't know it. I'll just take a little shot of espresso. Yeah. So anyway, I went to go pitch my idea. Ended up being one of the winners. So and then next thing you know,
Congrats.
and ITV was there, and they were just like,
So did they do the interview at the same time as?
yes, they started interviewing me while we were there. They were like, oh, let's do an interview, and they got Simon in it.
I remember you telling me like you and the ITV
Yeah,
journalist
that
who
was the second part
like
of it. innit?
you were friends. You were texting each other every day.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so I got the guy's number in it. So we done interviews there with me and Simon. One of the judges, was what used to be a judge on Dragon's Den. She was a lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
Barbara.
Oh, wow.
No, not on Dragon's Den. She was a lady. I can't remember her name. Like, I can't remember her name. No, she used to be on Dragon's Den back in the day.
Oh, is it the old?
Old
Like
Dragon's
the
Den.
first
yeah,
season,
the
like the
few.
first season ever.
Mm.
She's like.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but yeah, so she was there as well. So they done an interview with me and her, me and a few people, and then we sort of left, and it was over now. I was done. I was happy. I was carrying my check, going home, like obviously. And then next, the ITV guy got my number. He's like, you know what? I think this would be way better if we come back to your area, and
Wait, so like you got the check, but I remember seeing it was like the really large check. So do you
Yeah.
take that large check home?
Yeah, you
or?
can take it home.
No
yeah.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
Just
walking
keep
with it on the tube and
all
stuff.
at home, yeah. So I've got like
Legitimately.
yeah, from the other competition I won as well, yeah.
What? So
Oh.
how do you like transport it?
Do you go to the bank
got-
with the with the big check?
How do you cash that
Like-
check?
How
Nah,
do you take
that
it to
check,
the
that
bank?
check is just for showing it. They send you the real check later. Like
Wait, so did you
okay.
take an Uber home that day, or?
no, we literally my brother
So
came in and
do
we
they
just drove
actually
home.
send you
Oh,
like a
okay,
check, or is they after that it's just a transfer?
It's
and then
is the first competition was a check. The second one was a transfer. Like yeah.
oh, I see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I have the 16 number digit of your card
All that,
just to share with us?
all that
And a
money's been
security
invested
code
in
and
the
expiration
security
date.
code.
Exactly.
The Runtractive app and Runtrack in it. But yeah, so that's literally what happened from there. Then it was interesting though. I learned a lot. I got a guy's number. We connect a lot. Like he told me when I've started up, he wants to come back and put me on again. So I've got a relationship there. Like
What would you tell? What would you advise an entrepreneur who's just starting out? Like, do you have anything that they can take away from the story?
Okay, that's fine.
advice I'll give an entrepreneur,
Sorry,
yeah,
James.
personally for me is be likable, because realistically, I just had an idea in it, and
Yeah.
the idea literally was nothing. Like an idea, everyone has an idea, but because people liked me, I think, or what I was doing,
Yeah.
whatever, they were able to say, yeah, I'm gonna believe in this guy and his vision,
Yeah.
because
feel
they
like-
like me.
yeah.
Yeah, because I had nothing. Yeah, there was no like I had no proof
No,
of
but
concept. I had nothing.
You know,
So-
what's
Um,
good that you always have, bro. Like, and I've always admired this about you.
Wants
You know,
to-
it's are we good? Dude?
Yeah.
No. Like what I'm saying is that like about this guy, like I've always liked how he pitches in front of everyone. Like he looks so confident.
Very
he,
confident.
and even his like his
Body language.
his body language like tells
Demeanor.
like, okay, I got this, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool for the entrepreneurs that are listening to us out there,
Yeah.
because if you don't have confidence in what you're saying, guys, like literally no one is gonna believe in your idea.
Yeah.
Like you need to
Literally.
start believing first in
That's the
what you
truth, yeah.
think, and then other people will believe after that.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's impossible.
I
People
guess,
prefer to
um,
follow someone that's confident. That's the thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You prefer to believe in it. You know, my brother said to me before my first pitch, like I was like, yo, man's nervous, you know. I was like, oh, I'm nervous. Da, da, da. Then he was like, yo, listen, yeah, you can act and pretend to be a confident person for 10 minutes. It's not that hard. Just
Yeah.
pretend you're someone else. Like put yourself in someone else's like, in that mindset.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started like thinking of like different artists that I like on stage rapping, and I was like, yeah, they can be on stage talking to millions of artists. I can put myself in that mindset. Yeah,
That's why you listen to Eminem.
No, that's cool, bro. And actually, like what we're gonna do for all the podcasts as well, like, is we're gonna research like what are the best tips to get more confidence when you're pitching to someone.
Definitely.
You know, like
It's a
that's
good
another
idea,
good
yeah.
topic.
As the big
as well.
idea competition is approaching as well
Yeah,
with
like-
Westminster University, I think that this would be a good
What's that
topic.
again?
Oh.
It's been cut out.
What I wanted to say is that I guess that the fact that you it's a social business, so you're
Yeah.
trying to help kids. This is sort of like an honorable job, you know, and
It is indeed.
people see this, and I guess it also brings a lot of attention.
Yeah,
Like in general, I guess whatever business you're working on, and if you're addressing some kind of social issues or anything,
Yeah.
if there's some social, maybe even charity aspect to that, then
I feel
guess
like
it's a good benefit.
for like any entrepreneur listening, it's all about sales. Like you just have to sell your business, you have to sell your idea, because
My friend, it's a good price. We do
Sell
we do
yourself
the
and
deal.
things.
We
Yeah,
do the
that's
deal
exactly
together.
what we're
right?
talking
because
about,
like
yeah.
if you don't believe in your business, then no one else will. Honestly, like you just need to believe, because everyone started off with nothing. Like a lot of the most successful businesses actually
Yeah.
started with very little resources.
Exactly, bro. Look at us.
And
Nothing.
We're nothing. Literally. And we're gonna
you.
we're
me,
gonna be
nothing.
somewhere.
And look at the progress. Like the first episode, we were filming in,
like-
at the round table. Now we're
One
sitting in
mic.
the studio with proper mics.
Studio.
You
just
know.
have to believe.
I'm listening to my sexy voice over here. You know, it's crazy.
Allegedly.
Oh.
Allegedly. I'm kidding.
How long have we got left?
That was
like-
like 40 minutes, but like realistically 35.
Yeah.
So we've got more time.
Yeah.
Yes, like
we have another, like, 7 minutes to
7
go
minutes,
before-
and then we're gonna
So
say
should we
goodbye. We're
have
gonna
to-
wrap up.
Oh, no,
in the
wait,
next
should we-
7 minutes.
Should we leave
bring
this
the-
news topic for the next one?
The
then?
next topic.
Yeah, let's
Should we
let's
leave?
discuss one. So you actually came up with another one, which is
Yeah, so I just yeah.
well, so what is it called? Snapchat, right? Snapchat
Snapchat.
introduced sort of public API that can be used in other apps, and you can integrate Snapchat into your application.
And there was this this French guy who created an app based on this API. It's actually called Hoop. It's like Tinder but on Snapchat. And within the first week or the first 10 days or something, he got 2.5 million downloads. And this is like a 26-year-old guy, probably our age mate. His company wasn't funded, and he just like saw the opportunity, went for it, and now his company is probably going to be worth tens of millions of dollars.
Crazy.
And probably the next unicorn.
But this is an issue, right, with estimating how much the company can be valued at, is that he solely uses another platform, another API.
Yeah.
So if tomorrow Snapchat, right?
Yeah,
Snapchat decides
Wait,
to...
you don't use Snapchat?
No.
Do you use Snapchat?
Sometimes.
I do use it as Snapchat, but only as a viewer, not necessarily like as a content
Yeah,
producer,
I
like
use it as a
other
viewer as
ladies.
well,
But you know, like
Definitely.
yeah.
I need to start using it though more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of people like.
The majority of my market's on Snapchat,
But
isn't it?
Yeah.
coming back to what
Young
Nick was saying,
audience.
you know, like it's bad to rely on someone else's platform in order for your business to
I mean, they
function,
literally
basically.
can change their mind tomorrow and say, well, actually, you know, there are lots of backdoors or whatever, and we don't want it to be in place. And tomorrow they're gonna, without any notifications, stop supporting the public APIs,
But I feel like
and your app's not gonna work at all.
it's like Google have that, Facebook have it. Like every time you go to a website and it's like log in with Google, you're using like Gmail or Gmail's API.
But that's-
When it says log in with Facebook, it's like
Do you know this? Do you know the app that you're talking about? The guy
Yeah.
in there. How much of Snapchat's like new Snap kit did he incorporate into his business? Is it just
Well, I think
is
it's
it
the
just
heart of the
signing-
app because
signing part, or is it
in
more
order
than
to
that?
show.
I don't
like,
think
the-
it's just a sign-in part. I think
like
it's much
the,
more.
the whole
Okay.
profile and
Okay,
all the
yeah.
information.
So, like, you know how
essentially.
there's a like button on Tinder?
Yeah.
So instead of that, there is a Snapchat button, and when you click it, you sort of request the Snapchat information
Okay,
from
that's
of that
interesting,
person. So as I understand, if you match, you're gonna add each other on Snapchat or something like that.
Something
Wow.
similar, yeah.
Um,
But like
Imagine having
the
that.
point is like what I took away from the story is if anyone listening and including ourselves are on top of the trends and like keep abreast of the industry news, then you can stumble across an opportunity like this
Yeah.
and you can take advantage
Because,
of it.
yeah, because even at the end of the day, like even in the worst case
Yeah.
scenario, like unlikely case scenario, that Snapchat says,
Exactly.
you know, like, okay, we're not gonna support you anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're already a millionaire by
Literally,
that
yeah,
time.
users
So,
made-
so
you
you
can-
need to take
yeah.
advantage of opportunities, and that's something
And then
that, you
just
know,
then
like
keep building
that's
from there,
that's a
yeah.
good tip for all.
Yeah,
all
and
the
like I would
entrepreneurs out there.
even go further and say, like if you are in whatever industry you are, you have to know the latest trends and latest reports around it and the future, like where it's going to head in the future. And what I do is I will search like media industry, for example. I'll do media industry
Yeah.
report PDF or something like that, or media
I will
industry
actually just
future
follow
PDF.
hashtags, bro.
No, like and then you can actually read like reports which people spent like tens of millions of dollars on, like PwC and Deloitte and all of this,
Oh,
and
wow.
you can have like a good idea of where the industry is going to go in the future, and that's something like I would recommend every entrepreneur to be doing. So
That's it. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I'm actually gonna look into that. You know, the whole Snapchat
Literally.
thing. 'Cause majority of my market, like,
Yeah.
or people
Yeah,
on the target are in Snapchat.
Who knows? You may
Snapchat's
find
like a
someone
young
interested
audience,
there. You
yeah.
know, like it's.
Imagine incorporating the Snap Kit into
Yeah.
the Run Track app. And
Definitely,
the Run Track app.
definitely.
That would be good.
That's something I need to look into. You know,
Yeah.
that's actually interesting.
and like Facebook but not many people use Facebook.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for aunts
Mainly
and
the
stuff.
parents and that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I use
Apart from
Facebook.
Alvaro.
I'm
Like,
I
that's why I was
use
looking at you when I
I'm
said
an
it.
active user and
I use Facebook
He's
a
old
lot.
Oh,
school,
no.
I mean, mostly Messenger, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong. I mean, you're using Snapchat. It's like for 12-year-olds.
I barely use Snapchat. I'm gonna put that. I use Twitter. I'm like the guy who always advocates for Twitter because it's
Twitter's
so
good.
funny.
I
And
agree.
really good.
I'm on Instagram now mainly.
I think
I don't
That's where all the
I don't get the hype of Instagram.
Yeah, like
I
for
don't
me,
know,
Instagram is not
like-
necessarily for sending messages. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't feel like
But have you
to
seen
have a
this?
conversation. with anyone.
Marvin's like sliding in every DM, left, right, and center.
Okay, well, our friend is very popular here, but you know, like he has been on TV. He has.
He's like a gym guy as
Yeah,
well.
like gym guy,
He's
so-
obsessed with the gym.
only slide in one girl's DMs. That's it.
Okay, that's yeah.
Are they sliding in your DMs?
So yeah, guys, 2 minutes left for the Decelerator to stop for today, and we're very excited that we have been able to record this chapter with you guys. Like I'm personally, yeah, like
I feel
shall
like
we?
next time, like it should be a bit longer, Like
Yeah.
we should do
Definitely.
over an hour
Um,
mark because
Yeah,
We'll
well,
cut down a
obviously
lot,
we
yeah.
should start a bit
I think it's like 1 hour and a half. But I guess.
Whose fault is that?
Yeah.
whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
I'm sorry.
Two
I-
culprits.
I
Well,
apologize.
We're working late last night. That's
Yeah,
why.
if someone was like
Yes.
really busy.
Yeah,
One of us.
If you know what I mean.
So yeah. As we're ending, my name's Marvin, CEO of Run Track Sports and the Run Tractive app.
Alvaro here. Hola amigos, un gusto, un placer saludarlos a todos y que pasen una muy buena tarde. Nos vemos más luego.
Hey. This is Ishudin, and I'm the founder of Football Time, a new upcoming website, which indeed I shall be promoting.
So you put in like you put in quite a lot of effort on the website these days, or
Yeah, because I'm trying to transition my business away from just one medium to
I noticed that
multiple.
as well. So yeah, I was gonna ask the same
Yeah.
thing as well.
Plus,
yeah.
don't you think Football Time is such a good name? Like it's actually a really. I was
For a
surprised that it was
website,
available.
That sort of news.
Yeah.
yeah. 100%,
That's
yeah.
exactly what I'm going
are
for.
you writing, or are you just reposting the videos?
So it's going to be like really good. I can't get into it too much now until the
You've got a
ideas are a
sick
little
idea
bit
there.
more formed.
You can
but
tell he's very happy in it, right?
it's really good.
Mm.
Like
That's good.
of
It's
course
good.
I'll be
I
sharing.
can see the passion that.
Same,
you have
that's
for
it.
this, you're like-
Definitely.
His face
you're
was changing when he
excited,
started talking about it. Yeah.
It's like you know when you have something so good, you can't just like spill all the beans
It's like
so
he's-
soon.
He gets his rev.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's
they-
like he just
like-
he just saw Mundas and that for the first
Oh,
I was wondering. I was just wondering if this episode is gonna go without him saying this
it
word.
took 48 minutes for that to happen.
I mean, congratulations! Like you lost it. You lost it for 48 minutes.
No one's
man.
gonna know what it means. We can keep that in
Yeah,
it.
we
Yeah.
can keep that. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
What song was it? What song was it?
The song.
Yeah,
It was,
because we were like listening to the song at the party, and then
Yeah.
at the same time we just looked at each other
J
because
House.
it was the word Bundes
So
and the
J
song.
House come on.
Oh
and the song, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
we were like, wait, what, Marvin?
It was
Like
there
what?
was a
This is.
song-
Oh yeah, I remember now. It was like in that party, and then like I was like, Marvin's just like ripping off people's words. Like he comes to his foreign friends and acts like he's coming up with this
Oh,
lingo.
you look for I made up the word.
I mean, that's what you led us to believe.
No, I told you there's many different terms for different like there's many different terms for like London slang in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
for
and
different. Yeah.
for different like elements and entities of life in it.
No, I thought like we were doing our conclusions, and Nick is like sort of refusing to tell us about his
Nick don't
business.
want to end in it. He don't wanna leave
About
us.
business.
Like you're supposed to like.
Yeah,
this
what's
is
your-
Nick.
what's your
we
business?
mentioned in the
No,
first.
just say goodbye to your
yeah.
audience. You know.
Yeah,
to
like
your
if you
fans,
guys
like-
want to know, just go to the first
To the
episode. and
footnote, episode 1.
footnote episode 1, and you can check.
But it's
but, yeah.
something similar to pineapple pen. Like I still think about that.
So Isadin was helping me to record a video, a pitch video for the business idea, and it was late in the evening, and I he's just dying. I barely could do it,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to like take different parts from like different random videos and make like a terrible pitch. I think it would be quite fun.
No, that would have been like one of the worst pitch videos.
But somehow it worked really well when I did the accent.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Because when I was doing it in character, I could do it easily. But when I was trying to be
I feel
serious,
like that was
I
like
could
so
not.
natural. Like when you did it in your accent, like you're
It's,
actually selling it.
It's from Russia, you know. In
Musicians
Model.
and
musician,
venues.
yeah, venue.
the musician, the musician. And pineapple, apple, pen.
Okay, have you seen that video, pineapple pen?
Like pineapple.
Yeah.
I have a pen.
Oh
I
my
have an
god!
apple.
Because he was like musicians, venues, musician, venue, musician, venue. Then he's like, this sounds like pineapple pen, pineapple pen.
We should bring back pineapple, apple, pen.
Hashtag Apple
Along with dabbing apparently.
dabbing.
Dabbing. With a like.
No, no,
Can't,
no dabbing.
I can't.
Alvaro, can you do this and I'll do the noise? You know, you do like that.
2015.
So what is it?
Get some
like,
shake effects.
The listeners
This
should
is the
know.
first time I'm gonna say we'll cut this.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. Thank you
very much for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in.
Join us next Tuesday.
Yes.
for the-
Next
A lot
Tuesday, I
more.
think we're gonna be
Next
pretty
Thursday.
good to go. Like
Next
in
Thursday.
a couple of weeks more, and
Tuesday.
then like
I thought we filmed on Tuesdays and bring out on Thursdays.
Okay, wait. Let's just do that part again. Like the ending. When are we doing it? Next Tuesday or Thursday?
Next Tuesday.
I
do it
say
Tuesday,
let's not
but we-
name the dates yet.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
so yes,
The
next time.
days,
Because that's put too much
Um,
pressure on the person on Wednesday to do the editing, innit?
All right.
Yeah.
Thursday.
See us.
especially considering our editing.
We'll be like.
Communist. It's like cut this. I don't like it. Cut. I'm telling you, listen. Like, I'm gonna go for the all the bits where you say cut. It's going out. It's not gonna be here.
Nick was
And then
like.
compile it
You
together.
know, I was like, cut. And Nick was like, but. I was like, no, but, cut.
No, but
Just cut. But, yeah. So we'll see you guys next
see you next
next
week.
time, yeah?
Next time.